Hey Father, why do we cross ourselves 3 times on the forehead, the lips, and the chest before we listen to the gospel?
Okay, good morning and welcome back to another edition of After the Mass. Thank you, Isaac, for your wonderful question about a gesture that we make during the reading of the gospel. So just to call to mind what we do during the Mass. Before the gospel is proclaimed, the priest will come and bow to the altar and he says a prayer, and then he comes over to the ambo where he proclaims the gospel. Everyone stands and he says, "The Lord be with you," and the people respond, "And with your spirit." He then will say a reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. And with his thumb, you'll notice he makes the sign of the cross on the book of Gospels. And you'll see like there's just this little red cross. And so that reminds the priest that he makes a cross there, okay, the sign of the cross. Then what does he do? Then he crosses his forehead, his lips, and then over his heart. And he says a little prayer that you don't hear. He says, "Lord, may your words be on my mind, on my lips, and in my heart, so that I may know, speak, and love your word." And then he reads the gospel. Now, when he's making that sign of the cross, everybody else also is doing that same gesture. So you wonder where that comes from. But I first have to tell you something, Isaac, that's kind of funny. When I was growing up as a kid, my non-Catholic friends, when they would come to Mass, they would see us doing that gesture. And they would always say to me, "Hey, what's that chasing of the fly thing you guys do?" They always thought we were chasing flies because not everybody, I don't think, knew what they were doing, so I just kind of go make these gestures. But it's not chasing flies. It's a beautiful greeting. And it comes from that part of the world where Jesus grew. In fact, we can see in some of the old movies when they had the Bedouins coming in and out of their tents. You'll notice that they would bow down and they would do this gesture with this fluttering of their hands. They would bow and you'd see like this fluttering. And then the person walking into the tent would bow to that person and their hand would go just the opposite direction. And what was that gesture? It wasn't reaching out to shake hands, it was a greeting. And the gesture is, "My good from my heart, my love goes out to you, from my lips, my good words go out to you, and from my mind, my good thoughts go to you." So that gesture the early Christians took to communicate something about the gospel. And so we make that cross of our forehead saying, "Lord, may your word be in my mind. May your word be on my lips. May your word be in my heart, so that I may think and preach and love your word." So it's a very beautiful gesture that reminds us that we're going to read the gospel. And remember, when we read all the other scriptures, we're seated, aren't we? But when it comes to the gospel, we all stand up because we believe something else is beautiful. And that's that we believe that when the gospel is being proclaimed, we believe that it's Jesus himself who's proclaiming the gospel to us. Isn't that beautiful? So it's not just someone reading something, but we believe it's Jesus himself preaching his word to us. So thank you very much for your question, Isaac. I love it. It was a great question, and I hope that helps. And hope you all have a great day, and God bless you all as we get back together again to celebrate the Holy Mass. Bye.